Hi everyone, my name is Jeff Cheong. I'm the Deputy CEO of DDB and Tribal Worldwide. And today we're going to be speaking to a young Singaporean entrepreneur who's taking his business from Singapore to the rest of the world.
Hi, my name is Jimmy. I'm 29 this year and I'm a co-founder at Kydra. Kaidra is an activewear company which we started 3 years ago. So basically, me and my business partners, we used to go to the gym quite regularly in university. Every time we did a bench press, our phone would drop and then it would break. The shorts that we had didn't have any utility. There weren't any dedicated phone pockets. So we spent about a few weeks thinking about it. One day, a flyer appeared in front of our door which said Business Idea Competition. Since then, our flagship product, the Kaidra 2-in-1 Flex Shorts, was born. Some of the challenges that we faced was being an e-commerce business is that intangibility. Nobody can try our clothes unless they come to our office itself. Another problem that we identified was that because we are a new company in a highly saturated industry, we had to quickly establish ourselves with social proofing. We were thinking a lot more towards maybe some email marketing. We are still very specific and direct to boutique gyms. So anything outside of boutique gyms, we are not quite known yet. So we still have a long way to go in terms of marketing those people.
Would speaking to an industry veteran help you refine your company's direction in terms of marketing?
Yeah, definitely, sure. I would love to hear from an industry expert.
Okay, you can remove the divider behind you.
Okay.
Careful my fingers.
Hey, hello.
Hi, I'm Jeff.
Hey, Jimmy, nice to meet you.
Hello. Good to see you. I was listening closely to your story and it kind of warmed my heart. Not the cockles, but warmed the heart. So, were you and your partners and friends trained in fashion design?
No.
And how, business, right? You
Yes,
studied business.
correct.
How you make that quantum leap to fashion design, sketching?
We at first had this idea of like, oh, anything is possible. How hard can it be to go and create it? So we just anyhow sketch a bit, and then we submitted it to a factory and be like, oh yeah, I want to do something like this. And then the manufacturer was just like saying, I don't understand your drawings. Can you look at this? Is called a tech sheet. Can you please fill it out? We looked at it and didn't understand. So it took us a long while. We went to ask some of our friends and family who did textiles for a living, right? And then got them to kind of look at what we were drawing, what we were writing, and gave insight on that. And then from then we kind of slowly made it better and better.
That's very resourceful, because I think a lot of times we tend to be trained and skilled in one aspect, and then when we hit a roadblock, we may not be able to overcome it. So I guess having a lot of friends and relatives helps. Let me ask you a question about how far do you want to take Kydra? Start envisioning beyond Singapore.
Yes, of course. We want to be Southeast Asia's most trusted activewear company.
Yes.
So that's one goal that we really want to have within the next 5 years. In 2021, we are going to have another 5 more collections at least. The interesting part is that actually Kaidra started as a male brand. So now we are pivoting more towards females, and that's new for us. That's good for us in a sense.
Fashion is also something that it's doesn't draw a lot of loyalty. So today you could be a brand, but tomorrow somebody else comes out with a stronger story, and naturally you'll get the audience swing over to the other side.
Yep.
I was just thinking that if there are a couple of things that I can impart to you, not the 5C, got 4C. Okay, the first C is, like I said earlier, is content. People buy into your content. Where did Kaidra come from? Kaidra come from the Chinese word of victory. It is birthed out of from 3 friends in UK. That's a very interesting story, I thought, and you were there to solve a problem, and you're constantly solving a problem. The next thing is the purpose for the content, which is the cause. What do you stand for? If your heritage is all about to be a better version of themselves through sports or through daily activity, that could be a cause that you champion. Once you have that cause, people will gravitate towards that cause. That's where you form communities.
Right.
After the community is formed, you realize that you'll take a life form, and people will organize among themselves, and they will be your brand ambassador. They wear your product proudly. They do things that is aligned to your brand values. The last C would be the circular economy. How can you prolong the shelf life of your product so that it doesn't get tossed away? Like like fast fashion, in whatever kind of work that we do, let's say if we apply all this, I think generally we will come forward as a very strong brand for people to gravitate towards.
What do you think the significance of design in Singapore is?
If I ever have a product of my own, right, I would definitely proudly stamp that it's designed in Singapore. Yeah, because I do believe in the Singapore brand. I mean, just recently, I just backed a coffee maker that was designed in Singapore.
Nice.
And I believe we have very good designers in Singapore.
Yeah,
we have
do.
very good,
Definitely.
and a lot of our designers have actually made a mark overseas.
What do you think is like the next trend-ish for marketing now? Everybody knows now like retail
Yeah.
is kind of like declining.
Yes.
Everybody's going more online. Even older
Yes.
people are getting more tech
Yes.
savvy also. So
Yes.
would it just be, like 100% e-commerce in future with VR headsets?
Okay, so some of the trends that I've observed, right, in just a few months, live content, right, is usually brought to life by the presenter,
Yes.
and the presenter must be entertaining. Yeah. So I see the convergence of these two things. Right? It's shopping and entertaining together. So I call it shoppertainment. So do you go with the approach on gut feel or you are data led?
Initially it was gut feel,
Yeah.
right? Initially, but now we are slowly transitioning towards more data led because
Yeah.
we actually have data now to work
Yeah.
with. I feel like for fashion it's actually quite difficult because fashion, as you said, is always changing.
What I adopt at work, right, is out of the 100% of the work, right, I will always devote 10% to experiment. It allows us to really study the format in a very agile way to see whether it works or it doesn't work.
When is enough for you think?
When is enough? Okay, for
Yeah.
me, although I'm a terrible like OCD person, like every pixel, I guard it with my heart, right? But over the years, I learned that it's the other way. So some we talk about 20/80, right? So when it's 80%, I let go. I don't want to strive for perfection because when we move into perfection, only the maker can tell the perfection. Of course, we believe every product that we push out is perfect, right? But you must leave some room for people to contribute, and then you can shape it. What keeps me excited about the work that I do, and I hope yours as well, is work must point us to use our skills, the gift that we are given, right, to actually serve other people. That's very meaningful. Work must be enjoyable so that every day we wake up knowing that we are a better version of ourselves previously. So that gives us the motivation to press on. Yeah. A lot of young audience watching you right now would in some way be inspired by the journey that you have taken. And let's say if I ask you this question, if you were to restart Kydra like 3 years ago, how would you have done it differently?
Well, for us, I think basically what we'll do is we'll find more mentors, like proper mentors who are in e-commerce spaces, even marketing mentors, because we started out nose diving into the business. We paid a lot of tuition fees. We initially paid somebody to do our website for us. We spent about $10,000, and the website came back to us was pretty terrible. And then in the end, we just settled for $200 Shopify. What's that theme?
Okay.
We wasted a lot of time and effort on finding the right manufacturers because not everybody understood our idea, and we didn't realize that what we were trying to make was new at the period of time. People wouldn't understand what you're trying to say unless you draw out a very, very detailed map for them on what you want. And we do things like very manually and very inefficiently, and it cost us a lot of working time. And I think that was one of the first few things I would do to change how we started Kaidra.
Would you say that you actually will require a lot of stamina in this?
You need a lot of tenacity. You need to have a never say die attitude. You need to be able to be willing to learn from your mistakes. Be able to pick up yourself up immediately after you fall down. Like once you make a mistake, you're like, okay, never mind. Don't do that again. All right. So I feel like a lot of people harp on their own mistakes, and that's the reason why they might fail. If there's something to tell the young people of today who's just going to graduate, if you have a business idea, you have something you want to do, any dream you want to chase, just do it first. You can think about everything else later and put on hold. 1-2 years, just get it over and done with. If it works out, it works out. If it doesn't work, at least you tried, right?
I've always chosen not the path that the majority of people went to. I'm one of the few who could enter a JC, but I chose Polytechnic because when I was 15, I was exposed to graphic design, and I fell in love with the ability to communicate through visual arts. I assured my parents that I will work very, very hard, and I never looked back. That was pre-internet time, and there wasn't enough materials to go look at, and it was just brochure where I went with my gut feel. You're only young once, it's quite YOLO, right? And just give yourself a time frame and devote yourself for that period of time. Do the things that you really want so that you won't have any regrets. Even if it doesn't pay out well, right? What you get from it is actually experience, which is priceless. So I say, go for it.
After today's talk with Jeff, I think I learned quite a lot, especially the 4 C's that he mentioned at least a few times. I like the fact that he resonated with me, the idea that you just gotta do things. If you want to do it, just go for it. That actually really inspired me a little bit more to continue working on Kydra, to push the business forward and propel it to the next level.